I, Shivang Joshi, and Shivansh Bansal, founder of Law Community, brings you to the founding partner of Prudens Global Legal Solution. He has been appointed as arbitrator at various matters, have eventually worked in litigation related to civil and company matters. He has represented government statutory bodies and autonomous bodies. He is one of our advisor at Law Community. We have we are here to have an interaction with him. He is Mr. Sagar Shivam Jaiswal, and we will like to know more about his journey through this interview. Now, sir, welcome, sir. Welcome.
Thank you, Shivang.
How is COVID life going?
It's a bit difficult for everyone, including me, and especially when you are in a fraternity, in the legal fraternity, when you have day-to-day interaction with people and you have to attend so many social gatherings. It is very difficult to sit at home and do things over video conferencing, and just staying at home and maintaining social distancing is, I think, a bit difficult for lawyers because we are more socially engaged.
I can definitely understand, sir. So, sir, my first question is, what influenced you to opt for law as a career? And can you share a little bit detail about your law school experience with us?
See, Shivang, actually, I didn't choose law as my career initially before joining the law college. Actually, I came into legal profession not by choice, but by default, or you can say, but by an option, because I was a science student, and in fact, in science also I was pursuing for medical examination. Since unfortunately I could not qualify medical entrance exams, so I chose law as an option at that time. But when I was in my first semester itself, I remember the first law subject that I came across with was law of contract, and it fascinated me in such a manner. And the entire legal understanding, reading the case laws, the facts, the arguments, when you are reading the judgments in the very first semester, when one of our faculties, she was a very great faculty, I still remember. She asked us to read the judgments, and when we were reading the judgments, the arguments placed by the counsels, it was so enthralling, and it took us so toll on my mind in a positive manner that I was highly influenced to pursue my legal education as my career thereafter. And thereafter in law school, I have studied well. I will not say that I was not so good a student. I was, I think, according to my academic records, I was a good student. I mostly, along with the examinations and the curriculum which is required from the university level, along with that, I was highly interested into all the extracurricular activities, academic and non-academic participation into moot courts, debates. I had been to several debate competitions organized by Delhi University. I have been to moot courts, national level moot courts organized by NLU Patiala, and then Kalinga University, and then NLU Odisha. So I have been to various moot courts. I participated there. I wrote many research papers during my academic career, and one of my research paper was adjudged as the best research paper by Amity University also. So along with the academics, which is I think the mandatory part of the law curriculum decided by the University, Bar Council of India, and your colleges, I think participating in co-curricular activities, be it academic activities or non-academic activities, is highly important for a law student.
So, being from science background, after spending 5 years in law school, how did you advance your career in law, and what challenges did you face in the initial stages of your career?
I'll take your question a bit more further, and I'll start from the very first year of my law college. See, since I was a science student, so I had this habit, and not only this habit, rather I was taught in this manner to to make points for everything, to be very concise and brief, and very from to be very point to point in every aspect. So the first difficulty which I faced during the first year was when I was about to write the examination of my first semester. There was this saying among all my friends and all the university students that the more you write in a law exam, the more marks, the more sheets you fill, the more marks you will get. So I was not able to write so many pages. In long answers also, I used to write just max 2 or 3 pages, because my writing speed was not also that fast. And in fact, I was my the whole mindset was to be very precise and from point to point. So this was a bit kind of difficulty I faced in the initial years. But as my academic career uh, proceeded, I improved this. I improved it till my third, fourth semester. And when I was done with the law college, since I had done several internships during my academic career, during my academics only. So when I went to the court for the first time, it was very difficult for me to understand the procedures before the court, and it was very difficult for me to uh, actually understand what is happening in the court and day-to-day proceedings of the court. So, but the seniors with whom I was interning, they were very helpful, and they assisted me in every matter. They assisted me. They made me understand the entire issue, and I'm grateful to them till today. When we meet, I'm really grateful to them. And when I passed out my fifth year, I immediately joined litigation, because during my academics only, and when I was in fourth and fifth year, I did several internships, and I was quite clear about it that litigation is something which I have to do, and I was not in a position to let go litigation from my hand. So immediately after completing the fifth year, when the results were out, and I got myself enrolled with the Bar Council of Delhi, and I started practicing. I joined as senior in the initial year of uh, my litigation. I would not hesitate to say that it was very difficult. There were several difficulties which I had to face, because the senior I joined, he was marvelous. He had lots and lots of cases, including civil, criminal, and arbitration, and all kinds of cases. And the best opportunity I got with the senior was from the very first day, he deliberately and passionately uh, appreciated me and supported me to appear before the court in person, because I have seen my friends, my colleagues, and despite working for 1 or 2 years with their seniors, they have not got any opportunity to argue before the court, or they have not got any opportunity to appear before the court. They have been mostly given the office works, drafting works. But I am highly grateful to Mr. Vikas Chopra. I worked with him. He is a central government standing counsel, and he is the standing counsel for autonomous bodies also, Government of India. So he gave me, from the very first day, he gave me several opportunities to appear before the court, and he asked me to to appear in person to argue the cases. So this all helped me a lot, and the best part is I started my litigation from the trial court, which I think when I will be asked, I hope you will ask this question. So I'll come in detail when you will ask this question, that from where a lawyer or a student pursuing career in litigation should start. So I believe starting from the trial court is the key. I started from trial court, I shifted to high court, and I remember there was a time in my career, it was 2017, uh, post summer vacation period of Delhi High Court. 3rd of July, the court resumed, And you won't believe, in the month of July and August, the entire month of July and August, every day I was highly into education matters at that time, educational writs, civil writs related to education matters. So every day I had to face 20, 35, 20 to 30, 35 matters. Justice Indermeet Kaur was the judge. Now she has retired. Justice Indermeet Kaur was the judge in the roster before whom we had to appear. So it was like for 2 or 3 hours I used to spend my time in her court only, because so many matters were listed. And I barely remember I could sleep for 3 or 4 hours in those 2 months. So that was a difficult time, but I still remember and I still appreciate that the period of those 2 months, July and August, that has actually shaped my career, and that has actually gave me so much of experience, not only into litigation, but how to tackle so much of pressure at a time, how to deal with the situations which are emerging, which you have not prepared for in advance. So that was a really great experience I had faced.
Okay, sir. So what made you choose litigation, especially civil litigation, as a field in your career?
As far as I can gather, you are asking why I have opted for litigation, right?
Exactly.
See, this actually depends on every law student, his area of interest, his understanding of this legal profession. Many of my friends are working in corporate structure. They are working as a legal officer in many companies, and they are earning well. And some of my friends are even working in LPOs, and some of my friends are into litigation. Some have done LLM, and they are pursuing their career into academics. They have been assistant professor in law college. So it all depends upon student to student. As far as I am concerned, when I did my internship, when I joined the law college, I had absolutely no idea. When I say absolutely no idea, you trust me, because I was not a law student. I was from science background, and I had no idea how to pursue law college and what to do after pursuing law. So when I was in law college, when I did my first internship, thereafter the things slowly and steadily became a bit clear to me. I interned with the Delhi State Legal Services also. Then I interned with Competition Commission of India also. So I have interned with lawyers appearing before the court. I have interned with the bodies, the tribunals, the bodies. So that gave me an experience, and actually that actually opened a horizon for me. So where I can choose my career in which way I am highly interested into. And when I was in fourth and fifth year, I interned a lot, and I learned that litigation is something which fascinates me, and in which I am highly interested into. And I can do great, and I can do well if I'm into litigation. I was not inclined towards corporate jobs, because for me, I think desk job is not something which can take the best out of me, or where I can give my best. Although I try to give my best on everything at every place, but I think desk job is something which is not my cup of tea. But that is why I didn't opt for any corporate jobs. Though when I was in fifth year, and when I passed out, I had an option to join a company. I'll not name it. Company as a legal officer, and initial salary package was also, I'll not say very good, but it was kind of average compared to litigation. It was very good, but it was an average salary package. But I prepared my mind to go into litigation. Now coming on to what actually drove me to civil litigation. So I think, and this is my belief, everyone has their own experience, and people make decisions according to their own experiences in life. This is my experience, and what I believe is that civil litigation, if you are into litigation, one, first you have to be into litigation to decide whether to go for civil or to go for criminal litigation. So what I think is, if you are into litigation, civil litigation is such a wide segment of litigation before the court, because everything, and this is, trust me, when you will go to court, you will realize anything which is not concerned with criminal litigation is civil litigation. So that wide the ambit of civil litigation is. And I was interested with the civil cases in the initial years of my career, and then I went through the civil laws again from the practical perspective. So I was highly influenced, and civil litigation is an ocean, man. You can't ever learn everything there. There is something or the other. Always, whenever you open CPC or any Bear Act concerning civil litigation, you will find something new. So this is highly influencing, and I was highly interested into writ jurisdiction, civil writ jurisdiction especially. And as I told you, I was indulged in educational writs, which are also civil writ jurisdiction of the high courts. So this is how my career into civil litigation started, and I'm mostly into civil litigation now. Though I have criminal cases, I appear in criminal cases also. I take up criminal matters also. But when it comes to proportionality, I have much civil matters than criminal matters.
Yeah. So how do you balance your multifaceted professional life being a partner at Prudens Global?
See, I think it is all about prioritizing your work, your personal life, your professional life. You have obligation towards everyone, and you have to be responsible towards everyone. You cannot be irresponsible towards anyone to whom you owe a responsibility. So you have to prioritize things. When it comes to prioritizing things, then you can further prioritize your works in professional life, in your personal life. Talking about professional life, when I am before the courts, when I am asked to handle cases, when I am asked to do client counseling. So in such situations, I have to maintain. I have to undergo several challenges also, several pressure, mental exhaustion is also there. But despite everything, this is the time, and I think your 20s and 30s is the time where you build your career so that you can encash it when you are into your 50s and 60s. Because if you will take it very lightly, and if you will not learn to adjust or learn to grow with your problems, or learn to be a problem solver, in long run of your life, you will be in great difficulty. This is what I think. So that is why I always believe that one must do. See, hard work is the key. Everyone says that. Even I do say that, and I believe in it. Hard work is the key, and you have to be dedicated at all times. So merely reiterating such things that I do hard work and I am highly dedicated. So this will not make up the entire issue what is concerning you. The entire thing is you have to be responsible towards everyone, towards your client, towards your partners, towards your towards the court. So in discharge of your liability, in discharge of your responsibility, you must act wisely, and always I say that prioritize things, prioritize timings, and assign timings to such things, and always never say no to anything. Always be open to opportunities. This is something I always try to convey to all my juniors and interns who, since nowadays we are in this lockdown time, we are conducting online internships. So this is my endeavor to always communicate to all the fresh law graduates that never say no to anything, never ever, irrespective of fact that whether you have read those laws or not, whether you have whether you have practiced those laws or not, you are interested in those segment of litigation or not. Never ever say no to it. Always be open to opportunities. Be open to opportunities, and let the things come to you, and make wise decisions. Always act bravely, maturely. Try to understand the things. Try to understand your client, the issues which they are facing, and always hard work is the key. That is the thing. But always, along with your hard work, work smartly. Right? It is not only about working hard. You must work smart also.
So my next question is, how has the pandemic scenario affected the legal working in your daily life? And what is your opinion regarding the virtual court system and the e-filing system which has came across during this corona thing?
Correct. See, this pandemic situation has affected worstly to everyone, including lawyers, including me. No one is unaffected, not even me, and no one. I'm no exception to it. Everyone is highly affected due to this unprecedented pandemic situation, and I would say it has affected in every manner. In terms of clientele, in terms of appearances before the courts, in terms of uh, our appearances before the court, number of appearances, number of cases, everything. Because before the lockdown, we used to appear, we used to run from one court. Since in Delhi there are several trial courts and one high court and then Supreme Court and then several tribunals. So we had to literally run from one court to another court, from high court to NGT to CAT, then to high court, then to some trial court. So our entire day till evening 4 or 5 o'clock, we used to run from one court to the another. Now this pandemic situation has brought our life to a standstill. Now we have been restricted to appear virtually before the courts, and it has affected everyone in all terms, financially. In every term, it has affected us. And insofar as the virtual court is concerned, see, this may sound a bit unfriendly, but I do not think, and this is my personal opinion and personal belief, that virtual courts cannot be a substitute for regular court hearings. And I think, and I believe, the exposure, the kind of feeling, the kind of enthusiasm you get when you are arguing in a physical court, when you are arguing physically before the learned judges, the kind of experience you get, the kind of discipline you have been asked to maintain, and you maintain it, you can never ever do it virtually. One. Two is, I think we are not in a position to adopt the virtual court hearing system in such a manner, because I have appeared in cases and I have seen the video conferencing during court arguments. It's lagging at most times, and we are unable to convey our entire argument before the court, and we are unable to understand at several times I have encountered it, that we are unable to understand the queries of the judges. So if we are not getting the voice clearly, or getting the expression clearly from the judges, that what is being asked to us from the bench. So we will not be able to, and we have not been able to in most of the cases to convey appropriately our arguments. So in those cases we have in some cases we have sent the uh, recordings of our arguments. We have requested the court to let us file the written arguments so that we can bring clarity to our arguments, clarity to things. And I am grateful to the judges. They have granted us the opportunity to file written arguments, written submissions. But if you'll ask me, virtual court versus real court, virtual courts versus regular courts, I'll on any given day I'll go for regular courts, not for virtual courts. One, two is at some point of uh, time I may agree with the virtual court thing. Just just to make you understand this, that when you are arguing virtually, since see, I have several matters before Bangalore, Karnataka High Court, and some matters before Kerala High Court, and some before Nainital, before Uttarakhand High Court at Nainital. So whenever those matters are listed, so I had to physically go from Delhi. I had to travel from Delhi to Nainital to Chennai or Bangalore. So that was actually a pain when you have to travel to Nainital. I used to travel a day in advance, and then to Chennai I used to travel. I had flights at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I used to return at by 10 or 11 o'clock in the night. Again in the morning I have to attend courts in Delhi. So that was actually a very painful situation. So insofar as virtual court hearing is concerned, we can have it when a lawyer, engaged lawyer, is willing to argue uh, before any court outside his actual place of practice. Then he can there may be a practice which the courts may include, that an application may be moved in advance that he wants to argue virtually. See, if this is the situation, if what I am saying comes into reality in coming days, then I'll be able to move an application before Karnataka High Court in advance that I want to argue this matter virtually. So by sitting in Delhi, I can argue a matter before Karnataka High Court. So I will not have to take the pain of traveling. It is not only about the pain of traveling. In fact, this will cut the expenses of our clients also. So this will obviously be an the supplement to the litigation for every for every lawyer who is into litigation and who has the practice, who has several cases spread all over India. We are into pan-India works also. So as on day, we have to engage lawyers outside Delhi. So if the virtual court system is in place and it is working appropriately, then we can argue cases from Delhi itself. We will not have to engage lawyers outside of Delhi or at places. So that is the thing. But as of today, if you will ask me to go for virtual court or for regular courts, on any given day, I'll go for regular courts, not for virtual courts.
Yeah. So, what should be the internship plan for a law student who is aiming to pursue his or her career in especially civil litigation?
See, this is a very good question you have asked, and I believe that the answer of this question will benefit all the law students who are pursuing their law school, or who are about to start their law school. So, see, I'll start from the perspective of a student who is in the first year of his law school. So, if you are in the first year, or if you are about to start your law school, you must plan your 5 years. This is, see, I always emphasize upon planning things. Unless you have planned your career, unless you have planned your cases, unless you have planned your entire academic session or academic year, then I think most of the time you cannot make the most of your provided time. You may be at the losing end and not at the winning end. So always try to plan things, and in planning your internships, what I have been asked right now, when you are in the first year and you have to plan your internships. So my advice would be to all first year students that since you have not studied major law subjects in first year. Since I'm talking about first year of 5-year LLB. So since you have not studied major law subjects as of now, you are not well versed, or you have not even seen the courts, that how the courts work, or how the lawyers appear before the court. So I recommend to all. Since I was even called by my law college after when I graduated to address this session with the first year incomers, freshers. So to them also I gave the same advice, and I'm repeating it here, that always plan your 5 years. In the first year, try to do internships with the legal services authorities like National Legal Services Authority, NALSA, or if you are in Delhi, then go for Delhi Legal Services Authority. Or if you are in any other state or any other district, try to contact your legal services authority of that state or district, and try to get the internship in the first year with the legal services authority, because they will open for you exposure to how to approach the court, and they will make you understand things, and they will take you to several courts also. And if I'm not wrong, NALSA even takes you to Supreme Court, and they also takes you to Delhi High Court, and uh, they have also jail visits, and they have also parliament visits also. If I'm not wrong, I'm not sure about it. You can cross check it. So in the first year of your law career, you go with internships. You go for internship with the legal services authorities, be it NALSA, be it DLSA, or any other state legal services authorities. Then from the second year onwards, you can plan your internships. Since in second year, I believe most of the law students, the basic civil or criminal laws they study, like CPC, CRPC, IPC, they study. So in second and third year, they can go for internship with the independent lawyers. I would not recommend internship with a law firm in second year. This is my personal opinion. Everyone can have their own view, but this is what I believe, and this is according to my suggestion. That in second year of your 5-year law course, I would not recommend any law student to go for internship with a law firm, because see, the structure of law firm is very different. They have various types of cases. They are the work is so wide, and you have just studied some IPCA or CPC, or you may not have even studied that. So working in a law firm may not be advisable, or may not be very helpful for you. So in second year, I'll suggest law students to go for independent lawyers, especially in trial courts. I have seen this, and this has in fact become a trend these days, especially in Delhi. I see it. Everyone coming to Delhi, or everyone studying in Delhi, they always go for internships before High Court and Supreme Court, because High Courts and Supreme Courts sounds very fascinating. That oh yes, I am interning before Supreme Court. Oh yes, I am interning before Delhi High Court. So, but my advice is, if you are in second year and third year, you always go for internships and trial courts, because what a trial court can teach you, that you can never ever learn before High Court and Supreme Court. So the basics of law, the basics you will always learn before the trial court. So always start your internship with the trial court. Always in second year, go to trial courts, find a good lawyer, intern with him, spend your days with him, spend good time with him, learn things, learn how to draft a suit, how to draft a 156(3) complaint, how to draft a petition. Thereafter, in third year, you can opt for internship before the high courts, or in third year, in fact, you can even go for internship with mid-sized law firms. But if you are opting for a large-sized law firm, then always go for it in fourth year, because then you will be assigned good amount of work, good quality of work, and then you will be in a position to learn so many things. So in fourth year, see, fourth and fifth year are very important for a law student as far as internship and other activities are concerned. In second and third year, I believe you intern with a lawyer before the trial court, and being indulged in co-curricular activities, academic activities, moot courts, debates, declamation, and all other related activities. In fourth and fifth year, be very specific towards which side of litigation you are interested into. One, second, if you are not interested into litigation, if you are willing to join a law firm, then intern with a law firm, go for internships with a law firm. If you are interested, if you are not interested in litigation and a law firm, if you want to pursue your career with in corporate sector, then apply for internship with companies, and they engage interns, law interns. Most of the private companies also engage law interns. So this is how in fourth and fifth year you can plan your internships, and in fourth and fifth year, additionally, you can plan your internships with commissions also, like competition commission or some other commissions. Also, you can plan your internship with the parliamentary commission. Also, you can plan your internships. So this is how in 5 years you can learn a lot of things. So after having a planned internship for 5 years, starting from NALSA or State Legal Services Authorities, and then to trial court, then to high court, then to law firms, to commissions. After fifth year, when you will pass out, you will have a very clear knowledge and very clear understanding as to which side of law or which profession you are willing to, or you should choose after fifth year, whether you should go for academics or you should go for litigation, you should go for corporate, or you should go for law firms. So unless you will not explore everything, you will always be in dark. So this is how you can plan your 5 years internship in those 5 years, and you can after 5 years you can be at a very better stage of deciding your own career.
So, my next question is, what advice or suggestion would you like to give to those professionals who have just started their career in law, or to law students who are still studying?
My advice to young law professionals and to law students.
Yes, sir.
See, I'll categorize your question into 3 segments. One is my advice to law students who are still into first, second, and third year. My advice to law students who are into fourth year or who have just passed out or who are entering into fifth year. And my advice to young law students, law graduates who have enrolled last year or who are in the process of being enrolled this year. So for the students who are in first and second year or third year, my advice would be to read as much as you can. Read judgments, not only read your textbooks, always try to read judgments. The landmark judgments you must read, because when you are reading the judgment, it is not only about reading the ratio part, you are also reading the operative part of the judgment. You are also reading the arguments placed by the counsel on the similar issue. On one point, how can two persons have two views? You will come to know from there only. On a similar point of law, petitioner is arguing for something, and the respondents are arguing against that point of law. So you will understand that on one given topic or on one given point of law, how can you be at a given point of time, you be on both sides of law, how to interpret, how to actually interpret the statutory provisions. So my advice would be to intern well, first to read judgments and make reading your habit. Read textbook, read judgments, landmark judgments, and plan your internships. When you are in first or second year, you must plan your internships for your coming years. And if you have planned your internship, then you must go for first, second, third years. You must go for internship with legal services or with trial courts, which I think I have already made very explanatory in my last answer, so I'll not repeat that. So you can be, you can intern at several places. You can make yourself comfortable before the court. When you are appearing before the trial courts in second and third year, that would be very difficult for you. But regularly appearing before trial courts, you will make yourself comfortable. And then in fourth and fifth year, this advice goes to students who are in fourth and fifth year of their law school. So you are at a very crucial stage of your law school. No, I will not say it as a law career, because your career will actually start when you will graduate. So for your law school, you are at a very crucial stage. You make most of the time you have. Always always look for better for working with councils in court, or always go for councils who have lots and lots of work. You will learn drafting, and even you can engage yourself or intern yourself with senior advocates. You will learn with senior advocates. You will learn how to argue, how to prepare your arguments, how to argue cases before the court, how to make briefs of 700, 800, 1,000 pages judgment, of 1,000 pages petition. How to make brief of that. So several things you will learn with senior advocates. And my advice would be to also intern with advocates who have very good practice before high courts. So I'm mostly in writ jurisdiction. So original side, I'll also suggest to go for original side, but original side is something which can, I think, bit of that you can learn before the trial court also. So if you are going for the high court, my suggestion would be to go for a counsel or go for a lawyer who is practicing into writ jurisdiction. So you will learn to know how wide the writ jurisdiction is, and how to draft a writ petition, or how to draft the counter affidavits to the writ petitions. So in fourth and fifth year, you can learn these things. If you are inclined to working in law firms, then you can apply, and you can make yourself available for internship with law firms, mid-sized law firms, and tier 1 law firms. So this depends on you. But in fourth and fifth year, you must be very keen towards your interest, and you must shape your career, and you must be very clear about it, that after fifth year, what are you going to do, or what is you going to be the next step after graduation. So if you are planning for LLM, then right after LLB, go for LLM exams. If you are planning for civil services, then right after your graduation, go for civil services. If you are planning for litigation, then don't waste your time. Right after graduation, get yourself enrolled with the state bar, and join the litigation. So for fourth and fifth year, this is the suggestion which I would give. And for fresh law graduates, I would suggest always find a very good senior, because these days I have seen, and around 2 or 3 days ago itself, I was going through some posts on LinkedIn also. And I don't want to get into all those controversies, but I was reading some posts on LinkedIn, someone was posting in favor of starting independent practice immediately after law college. Someone was in favor of practicing with some seniors before starting your own independent practice. So my opinion and my advice would be, and this is absolutely my point of view, and everyone has right to differ from me, and I'm not calling in for any controversy on this. But my point of view is, after being a law graduate, everyone must go for juniorship with a very good lawyer, with very good with someone. If you are interested in civil litigation, join lawyers who are into civil litigation. If you are interested into criminal litigation, join lawyers with criminal litigation practice or company litigation practice. It depends on you, but always join a very good senior. Always join, because the things what a senior can teach you, you can never ever learn those things on your own. Trust me, this is my experience, and this is my personal advice. Always go for a very good senior, and what a senior will teach you, you will never ever learn on your own. You may have your clientele, you may have your own independent cases right from the beginning, You may call yourself an independent practicing advocate right from the day one, but what you will learn with the senior in the initial years of career, you will never ever learn on your own. So always go for practice. At least spend a year or two with your senior, and I would even recommend go for as many seniors as you can. You can opt for civil litigation, criminal litigation, company litigation, arbitration practices, corporate law litigations. So try everything, and after 2 or 3 years, when you will have uh, a very good set of knowledge, and you will have very good set of experience, then you can start your own practice, or you can go for your own independent litigation, and then you will be in a better position to choose which side of law, which side of litigation practice you must pursue. So you will be in a better position after that. So this is what my belief is. So if someone would have to take my recommendation would be to always go for practice and juniorship with good seniors, at least for a year or two, and after that you can take your own litigation.
Yeah. So, how much important do you think is interaction between peers in college?
Sorry, how much?
How much important do you think is interaction between peers in college and your lawyers for knowledge building and life skill improvement?
Uh, can you please repeat your question? I have not heard it clearly.
Yeah. How much important do you think is interaction between peers in college and young lawyers for knowledge building and life skill improvement?
Interaction among law students. Yes, yes, it is. It is very important. You must, if you are into litigation, you have to do it, and I would suggest you must do it right from your law school itself. You must see. There is no point in not talking to anyone. You must interact with everyone. You must interact with your seniors, your colleagues, your classmates, your friends. Obviously your friends are someone you will always interact with, but you must also interact with your seniors and the colleagues at places where you are interning or you have interned in the past. So maintaining this social circle is very important in litigation, because when you are into litigation and when you will start your practice, this is something which is going to benefit you day in, day out. So the bigger your circle is, the bigger your clientele will be, or the bigger your reputation will go. You can go to anyone to seek advice, or you can go to anyone for seeking any kind of help. So I always recommend to have interaction with everyone and always maintain this social relationship with everyone. So I do not believe in this idea of maintaining yourself at a distance from the social gathering. I don't subscribe to this idea, and I think if you are into litigation, then you must be open to all these lifestyles and social gatherings and public hangouts. So this is something you have to. If you are not naturally that kind of person, then you can induce some changes in your behavioral, social behaviors, and you have to do these things, and you have to inculcate these habits in your day-to-day practice.
So, sir, my next question is: if you had the option of improving one thing in the line of work, what would that be?
One thing apart from litigation.
In the litigation field, what would you like to change as a structure?
Sorry, one thing
Would you like to improve in the line of work?
in the line of work. One thing which I could improve in myself.
No, sir. In the whole
Sorry?
in the whole litigation and the structure.
Oh, in the whole litigation. Okay. So the question is basically about the scope of improvement in the sector of litigation, I believe. This is what is being called?
Exactly.
So, if it is concerning with litigation itself, I would recommend, this is my personal recommendation, personal thought on it, that instead of increasing number of courts, and instead of increasing the jurisdictional dividing the jurisdictions and increasing number of courts, the practice which the courts may adopt, and when I am saying court, I am not being limited to the arena of judges only. I am the court. When I am saying court, it includes lawyers, litigants, and the learned judges of the honorable judges of the courts. That speedy disposal is the key. Speedy disposal is the key. I'll give you an example. I'll not name. I'm not going to name anyone, but there was a case. This suit was filed in 2016, and an injunction application was filed along with the suit. For 2 years, that injunction application was argued. On some dates, the plaintiff was not there. On some dates, the defendants were not there. On some dates, the court was on leave. And finally, after 2 years, the arguments were heard at length by the courts. And on one fixed day, I was appearing for the defendant therein. I was asked by the learned court to file the written submissions. I filed the written submissions, and after 10 days, the court kept the matter for orders. On the 9th day, when I submitted the written submissions, after that, on the 9th day, the notification came from the High Court regarding the transfer of judicial officers, and the learned judge before whom my case was pending, he was transferred, and some other honorable judge has to take his place. So on the 10th day, when I went before the court, though my matter was kept for orders, the court asked me to argue the entire case again. Then I had to argue the entire case again. So this is nothing but it lingers on the process. See, it's been almost 4 years now, and the interim application has also not yet been decided. So we are also at fault at most of the times. Sometimes the counsels are not available, and sometimes the counsel seeks adjournment. Sometimes the court has to attend judicial other administrative works, so they could not hear the matters on the judicial side. So all this can be taken care of, and speedy disposal is the key. If you will see, the trial courts are overburdened. Even the high courts are overburdened. Every day, if you see the miscellaneous roster of Delhi High Court, miscellaneous roster, every day there are 30, 40, 50 supplementary matters, and then after 50, 60 regular advanced matters are there. So it is very, very difficult for courts even to handle so much of pressure. So speedy disposal is the key. Unnecessarily, even the litigants should not approach the court, and even the counsel should be vigilant about it, that unnecessary delay tactics should not be adopted. So given an opportunity to mend something into litigation, I would go for mending the practice of seeking unnecessary adjournments before the court. Nowadays, I have observed before the trial court and before the high courts also, they are very strict regarding the adjournments. But earlier, I believe it was not so difficult to seek an adjournment. But nowadays, I think seeking an adjournment is very difficult, and the courts even do not grant adjournment on unnecessary and vague and unsubstantiated grounds. So this is something which is going in the right direction, and we can have more and more uh, fast track courts for criminal cases, and some heinous offences in criminal cases can be classified, and they can be only tried before the fast track courts. So recording of statements, recording of the cross examination of witnesses, it can be done at a very faster rate, and the matter can be adjudged speedily. So this is something which would be my recommendation. And despite there may be several flaws in our system, especially in the court system, but despite everything, I believe in the judicial system, and I have this my soul and conscience is fully dedicated to the court system, and I believe and I have full faith and trust in the entire judicial system, and that trust and faith must not be shackled at any cost. Everyone practicing before the courts must have faith in the courts.
Yeah. So I'll conclude with one last question. How can an organization like Law Community prove beneficial to the legal fraternity? And what new avenues are expected from legal professionals such as yourselves?
See, I believe what you are doing is something excellent, marvelous, and any adjective for excellent would be less for the work what you are doing. And it is not only uh, gesture or a word of appreciation for you, but this is a word of gesture and appreciation for every legal platform out there in this present time. I remember when I was in one opportunity, one internship opportunity was so difficult. There was no portal or no website or no platform like Law Community, or there are several other law platforms. I will not name them. Everyone knows, but I will not name anyone. Since I am concerned with Law Community, so I am naming you. There are several other law platforms also, including Law Community. You provide so much of opportunities to law students. You have actually opened up a sea of opportunities for upcoming lawyers and law students. They can come. They can have the updates from the websites. You update regularly the cases, the things, everything, your maxims, and you are working excellently well. And see how this has been beneficial to law students. This answer can only be given by a law student who is in first, second, or third year. But since I was deprived of this benefit during my entire law school, I had no such platform or portal. I had no access to such platform or portal. In fact, there were no such portals during those days. I think Loctopus was at its nascent stage at that time. But except Loctopus, I don't think there was any other platform. Or if there would have been, I may not be aware of it. But the work, what you are doing it is highly beneficial, and it will supplement, it will add to the benefit of all the law students and fresh law graduates. Not only law students and fresh law graduates, it will also help everyone who is related to legal sector, help everyone who is related to the legal field, be it they are working in corporate sector, or be it they are working with the law firms, or they are into litigation. It is highly beneficial for everyone, and my best ever wishes are with you, and I'm very happy, and it is from the bottom of my heart, trust me, I'm very happy that you have come up with so many brilliant ideas and so many brilliant webinars. I have been regularly following your posts on LinkedIn, on WhatsApp, and your events, and the events, webinars, everything organized by you. And seriously, and I'm very happy, very delighted to see that the platforms like Law Community are growing leaps and bounds every day, and it is going to benefit everyone, every law student, law graduate. It is going to be in favor of everyone. So my best ever wishes are with you, and uh, ever in life you seek any kind of assistance, or if you need, if I can be of any help to you, I'll always be open to you. You can always, uh, without having any iota of doubt, you can always approach me in whatever help or whatever what will be my in my domain. I'll always help you out with.
Thank you so much, sir, for having such an amazing interaction with us. It's definitely gonna benefit to a lot of young-minded people. We'll follow the
That's great. Even I love interacting with everyone, and since this is a virtual interaction, my passion, I'm very keen to interaction, physical interactions with classroom interactions and interaction with law students, law graduates. I am very interested in sharing my experiences, day-to-day experiences before the courts, and I have several stories which I can narrate, but anyhow, I think you are running out of time also, so it's fine.
we'll follow the footprints you mentioned, and we are
Sorry.
delighted. We will follow the footprints you mentioned,
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
and we're delighted to have you as our advisor also. Being a law student, having a keen interest in civil litigation, it was so much inspiring for me too. And thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much.